Uh, Today we're here to talk about the Carolina Panthers recap. And is it an overreaction or a underreaction about the 30 to nothing shutout win over the Atlanta Falcons? If you're new to the Atlanta Falcons Carolina Panthers rivalry, it has been one-sided. If you want to call it a rivalry. A lot of fans down here, I live in Georgia, so a lot of fans don't consider us rivals. It is what it is. It's the Saints are the Falcons rival. We're just kind of like the little brother that wants to be into the club. You know what I mean? But Falcons fans don't see us as a rival. And I actually been down here where to Saints and Falcons get into it at a bar. It's not pretty. So yeah, us more so. We've been getting our butts whipped pretty good, but as of lately here, the last couple of games, the tide is starting to begin to turn here. And yesterday, or excuse me, Sunday turned in a big way. Before I kind of get into uh, the bad, I still want to just kind of praise what there's a lot of work to do. Okay, a lot of work to do, but I want to kind of praise those who made their effort known to keep us from going to 0-3. Excuse me. And shout out to all the content creators except one that attended the Carolina Panthers game. That's nice, man. I mean, just taking a shout out to my man Elaine for that super sticker. Thank you, brother. Shout out to all the content creators. It was nice to see the bank alive, right? After the 0-2 showing on the road, you didn't know what you were going to get, right? You didn't know if people were going to pull up, and I don't blame them, right? Bad products does deserve the support, right? You won't support, put good products out. So, all in all, man, people still showed up, man. I guess they were more hopeful than others, and they were rewarded with a dominant performance there. And the Panthers did just that. Okay. What I will say is this: Bryce threw for 121 passing yards, and we won 30 to nothing. You know, if you ask me the likelihood of a person throwing for 121 yards and shutting out the other team 30 to nothing, I don't even think that happens in high school, man. If we faced a high school team who threw for more yards, you'd probably lose that game here. But it was a collective unity of an effort that got us that game. And I say this: Bryce did more damage with his legs than he did with his arms. But the biggest thing that Bryce did do was not turn the ball over. I think this defense has been living in a negative stereotype of being bad over the first two games. And the reason why I say that is this: we started off the last two games, Arizona and Jacksonville, uh, playing from behind turnovers. Everybody wants to call for Evero's head. A lot of people calling for certain defensive players' heads after the first two games, but you can't really judge a team when they're playing defense on our side of the field. You know, literally they're coming out there or they get a drive, they get a stop, and they come back. Offense turning back over. Now we're on our side of the field. So this was the first game you got to actually see this defense, not the chase points, right? Chase from behind from points, right? To try to play this defense is a complementary defense. I will remind you of that. What you seen yesterday was a dominant showing from a complementary defense. Why? Because that complementary defense didn't have to chase from behind points, right? This defense chase from behind points is probably not gonna look 30 to nothing here. But as long as they're playing with a lead, you know what I mean? They can tee off, they can kind of take chances where they can jump routes and stuff. And you know what I mean, bring a little more pressure than they normally would bring because they're ahead, right? This defense is not really meant to take chances like that. It's more of a conservative defense, you know, zone defense where you sit back and you kind of play what's in front of you and try to protect the deep ball, right? But when you get ahead, and that's what Bryce did. Bryce got us ahead, man. Whether you like it or not, it wasn't the most sexiest, right? A win is a win. I say he was efficient in his first couple drives there with his legs. I appreciate you. Look, I don't need gaudy numbers. I don't need a Superman. And nor do I need another deity. I got one deity, so I don't need another one, okay? It's hard enough serving him. Right? All jokes. But yeah, man, him being efficient and just kind of look, you know, scrambling with his leg, taking what's available to him. You know what I mean? It played a big difference, man. And then I got to tell you, This wide receiver group here, this team had every reason to kind of fold, right? Xavier Leggett not here. You know what I mean? My man from what's his name for Holy Cross, he's not here. Coker's not here. You know what I mean? You got two linemen out. You got Corbett, Robert Hunt. You know what I mean? Keem Kwanu, still, Keem Kwanu, and just a lot of just uncertainty around this team. And every reason for them to pack it up and say, hey, man, let's just go ahead and get this vacation started. Another loss on the records. But they chose not to fold. That's the definition of resiliency. And I respect that, man. I respect that, dog. I mean, whether you still believe in the team or whatever, you don't believe in the team, or you think it's overrated or underrated, man, they showed up hmm against all odds, and that's my kind of story. I like those stories, right? I respect that, and them showing up, they played as a team, man, and the same way we got people fired yesterday. I don't know if you guys know, man. We got the Falcons passing game coordinator, and I think their wide receivers coach, Ike Hilliard, the former New York Giants wide receiver, and you know now unemployed Falcons wide receivers coach Ike Hilliard was released yesterday. So I mean, you can't tell me that this team wasn't motivated. Coming in 0-2, a game where I think we should have won in Jacksonville. I didn't have us beating Arizona. We should have. If Bryce would have lost yesterday, somebody's getting fired. Period. That was a firing match, and I don't blame the Falcons for letting go who they let go, because with all the deficiencies that we had as far as injuries and stuff like that, being 0-2, there was no way that we should have blown anybody out. So I definitely blamed. I mean, I definitely see why the Falcons fired people. But we were playing for Bryce Young's job. hmm Bryce doesn't make it through that game with a win. Bryce probably is not playing in New England next week, right? If that happens. But fortunately for us, it didn't go that way. And I got to tell you this, and one of the reasons why it didn't go that way, outside of the defense being just phenomenal, I have to say T Mac. I want to pronounce his name so bad. Y'all gonna make fun of me. Y'all gonna be mean to me. I don't want to be mean. Can I try it? Can I try it? I want to say his full name. Let's see. Tet Tero T Mac. Okay, I try. I try. That dude is a star. That's a star, man. The last time we seen a stud come through like this was Steve Smith, right? Steve Smith Sr. But what T Mac is going to do, I know a lot of people are saying DJ Moore wants to be traded, and I hear some stuff like that on him. T Mac is going to bring free agent wide receivers to Carolina. I mean, that dude he got it. He got it. I mean, there's a picture out there. I don't know if you guys seen it in the game where shout out to KJ for that super sticker. This guy literally looked like he was just floating on air. My God. I mean, he looked like I don't know if he's sponsored by Jordan. If he's not sponsored by Jordan, man, then this dude is a freak. And I mean that in good word. I don't mean like Elroy freak, but I mean like this dude is a freak, phenomenal. I mean, just every game, I'm just in awe of T Mac. This guy's just amazing, man. It's just like he suffers some concentration drops, man. Right? He suffers some concentration drops, and I think that will come over time, man, as he matures into the star that he's meant to be, man. But he's good, man. Damn, he's good, man. If we can just get some quarterback play that's moderately successful, maybe even 250 a game. I mean, maybe that's too much to ask for. Maybe we can see more dominant performance. But I absolutely love T Mac. That's probably my favorite player on this team now, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to Derek Brown too. Shout out to KJ for that super sticker. He said, "I appreciate your time and hard work, bro. 100, 100. Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys supporting me as always." Okay. So T Mac did his thing there on offense. Another thing that you guys may have or may not pay attention to is, guess what? Carolina can run the ball. Wow, that's right. That's right. Carolina can run the ball, and I want some of you guys here, and not all of you guys, but a lot of you guys had a lot to say about Dave Canales' um, play calling week 2, and I believe week 1 as well, right? A lot of you guys were talking about how Oh, well, Canales don't know how to call plays, and Canales is the reason why Bryce Young was struggling. Y'all do know Canales was still out there, right? Y'all know that, right? The ones that was in my chat talking Canales, 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 Canales. You know, what I if you paid attention, dog, Canales had this offense with a bunch of motions and you got shifts and different alignment reads. And it was very methodical, man. If you guys don't understand the importance of motion and shifting on offense, your keys, your reads, your assignments change on defense, whether you're in the man or whether you're in a zone coverage. So, and it's also a key indicator for um, the quarterback too to decipher which kind of defense you're in. Now they could be running dummy coverages and stuff like that, but for the most part, it helps you decide, at least from a pre-snap read, what they're aligned in, and also it makes it hard on the defense to figure out, what their assignment is. Okay, so if I have a tight end shift, you know what I mean, got a motion to the right, now decide depending on what defense I am, my reads change. I gotta carry this guy, carry that guy, and based off of how you react to that motion or shift, you can either put yourself dead center on the play, or you can take yourself out of that play. It becomes a cerebral game, right? That's the beautiful thing about that. And most teams who run motions and shifts and stuff, they tend to be highly efficient offenses, right? Another thing it does is it causes you to slow down your reaction time, right? Because now you're thinking, right? Because you're thinking like, okay, am I in the right gap? Am I in the right hole? Da 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 da. And by that time happening, if you got a guy like Chuba Hubbard, the offense has the advantage because the offense already knows what they want to do. If the offense wants to run the ball and you're still thinking they're going to pass out of this motion set or boot out of this motion set, boom, and you take yourself out of the alignment based off the shift, you know what I mean, or the motion. As soon as that ball is snapped, you literally got about a split 2 seconds, if that, to decipher. And then, while you're reading and trying to decipher, the ball is gone past you. So it was a beautiful thing. Canales had a bunch of it. You go back and watch the all 22 or whatever you want to watch, man. We got back to the basics, y'all, and running the ball with Chuba. You know what I mean? I mean, you just paid this guy a lot of money. I mean, I don't know about you, man, but I want the most value for my dollar. So, if I'm gonna pay a guy X amount of dollars, that's feed him, right? And that's what they did. They fed him real good, put it in his mouth. You know what I mean? So 17 carries for 73 yards there. And Rico Dotto got in a couple carries as well. So I appreciate that. Take the pressure out of Bryce Young, right? The less Bryce throws to me, the better we are. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If we can get yardage without Bryce throwing it, I'm perfectly fine with that. It's not sexy at all. Not sexy at all. But hey, man, like Tupac said, it's just the way it is, man. At this point in the game with Bryce 3 years in, you know what you got. And I mean, shout out to Kendall the GOAT. Make sure y'all support him, man, as well. We and him had a conversation last night on the channel. He was like, Big Cat, good quarterbacks, they usually, what do you say, good quarterbacks can play in any system. And I'm like, well, that's kind of true, but that's not true. Usually a good quarterback, the coaches develop a system that they're comfortable with, right? When Tom Brady went from New England to Tampa, Bruce Arians was more like in the air raid system. But that shit wasn't working for Tom Brady. That's not his game, man. He's more like a pick you apart, you know what I mean, sideways, laterally. Then he takes his shots when available. So they had to go back and revamp their playbook according to his skill set. So unfortunately, Bryce's skill set is very limited, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have any skill. He has some skill, and maybe we've seen a glimpse of the future here. Maybe 121 yards is the new norm. You know what I mean? If you can run the ball and be effective with it, man, I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but shit, if it wins, who cares, right? I know you guys don't care. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's a recipe that you gotta really hope works, right? Because if it don't, I mean, you got to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's the kind of offensive schemes that you use with Bryce Young. You can't get behind on it, right? You got to play with the lead. You can't get behind uh 10 nothing, 3 nothing, running that kind of offense. Okay, it's just not gonna work. So unless this defense continues to play like this week in and week out, then I just don't see it being sustainable. But it worked. It worked Friday. So shit, man. I mean, it worked Friday. So I don't want to cry over the tea in China, the price of tea in China. So okay. So kudos to Carolina. Just something for you to chew on there. Another thing is this right here. Defensive players stepped up, man, big time, big time. And again, that's because we were able to not turn the ball over on offense. We played with a lead, allowing for guys to take penitentiary chances. We didn't get any sacks. We didn't get any sacks. A little questionable there, man. But we did make some big time plays, including Shy Smith Wade, the little man, right? One of the littlest cornerbacks in the league here, undersized, made the biggest plays. I mean, he was able to jump a route, take it home for a pick six, man, and played phenomenal. Let me see how many pass breakups he had. He had one pass breakup, one pick six, touchdown, and 5 total tackles. His secondary was active here, very much so active here. Michael Jackson as well, and I guess the biggest news is we held Bijan Robinson under 100 yards. You got to understand Bijan carved the Minnesota Vikings up pretty well, pretty good last week. And we came out and held them to under 100 yards, under 80 yards. So, I mean, shit, man. I mean, I seen a play where Derrick Brown literally rocked his snot bubble. It looked like it wasn't fun to be out there for the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm okay with the Falcons having tears, man. Like I said, I live in Georgia, and it makes me feel good every time I see a Falcon cry. You know what I mean? This is what it sounds like when Falcons cry. Derrick Brown had absolutely dominated, rocked it, his snot box there, man. So yeah, man, defense stepped up in a big way here, man, and it was a collective unit. Some things we got to work on here. Trevor Etienne back there at the punt returner, kick returner, he did have a fumble again. Um, yeah, I don't know what to tell you about Trevor no more, man. He's a rookie. He's making mistakes. Could have put us in a bad position early. Fortunately, they weren't able to capitalize on it. But I'm concerned. I don't know what's going on with this Jimmy Horn situation. You know what I mean? I don't know what that's about. Jimmy Horn. That's why I say, man, I don't like to get caught up in this. I don't like to get caught up in this training camp stuff, right? Remember in training camp they were talking about, oh, he's beating people by 5 yards of separation, and now all of a sudden, 2 weeks into 3 weeks into the season, I haven't heard his name not one bit. So I don't know if he's being punished or what. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I prefer Jimmy Horn to be back there. Okay. But yeah, special teams still very, very questionable, at least on our return game as well. Defensively, I see we initially got off to a little bit of a slow start. They were getting some third downs and converting them and penalties and stuff, man. But I would like for us to be more thorough, right? There's always a way we can refine our crafts. You know what I mean? Obviously, the score was a blowout, yada, yada, yada. It's not too much I can really pick apart right there. But there still was some times where, those guys were getting some momentum here. Now, offensively, the biggest thing for me is this, and it's simple. Bryce Young has to be able to take advantage of turnovers, missed opportunities. A lot was left on the field from Bryce Young perspective, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They missed 2 field goals, and we had great field goal. We had great field position after 2 missed field goals, and we did not do a damn thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. Matter of fact, when we went up 10-0, the lead did not even feel safe. Right? It's a darn shame when we're up 10-0 and the league still feels like we're about to come. They're about to come back on us. And a lot of people say, "Well, I'm crying. I'm being negative." No, I'm being honest. That's the word you were looking for, honesty. Because against the lonely Falcons, and I do mean the lonely Falcons down here, they're freaking out in Georgia right now. That may be cool to not capitalize, right? If you're getting midfield position after 2 missed field goals, minimum, you need to be coming away with at least 3 points. Minimum. For you not to capitalize on that, and it definitely screams that offensive stagnation. And I don't want to be overly critical here. Okay. And yes, I know we were missing our starting center. And yes, I know we were missing our starting guard and Robert Hunt. And yes, I know we were missing Xavier Leggett. And yes, I know all of that. But you play the game. You're a professional. Bryce has been in this offense long enough. He's been on this team long enough to be able to pass that ball to the wide receiver X or tight end X, right? So miss me with this. We're sitting at if you can't get 20 yards when you're sitting at the ball, sitting at the 50-yard line, damn, bro. I'm not asking you to fucking move mountains, my G. You know what I mean? I'm just asking you to pick up 20 yards. Nigga, put us in field goal range, right? So I'm very concerned about that. For as much as we did do, man, I think the offense came a little more fluid as the league started to grow. I think they felt a little more comfortable, but ultimately, man, that we got to become more efficient, right? You got to think about it. Bryce's best performance came what? From him throwing it 55 yards. I mean, 55 times. That's not even logical. 55 times for 300 yards. That's like it's not even fucking logical, right? And then you look at this performance, him throwing it for 120. It's always an extreme high with Bryce Young, or it's an extreme low. You know what I mean? He either got to overly throw for he got to throw for 60 attempts to throw for 300 yards, or he literally throws for 120 yards, and then we win based off. It's like it's never like modest play, right? And I think going forward, if we're going to mount a comeback in this year, man, I think we gotta have greater quarterback play. We gotta have better quarterback play, man. It is what it is. We were able to pull it off, and it was very good to see this team in this city come alive. The bank was rocking. You know what I mean? I could tell. I could feel it I feel the energy through the TV screen, man. Um, so I don't want to, be a Debbie Downer here, but a lot more left to come. And I'm gonna go to the community section to read you guys' questions here, and then I'll drop the link. Let me wrap it up on a bowl real quick. I want to talk about this offense as well with Xavier Legette out of it. Okay, so we are missing Xavier Legette. We are also missing Jalen Coker. This offense did look darn efficient without Legette. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think Jalen Coker might need to start. And I know Legette's hurt or whatever he got going on. But I actually think more so mentally, he's probably checked out. I don't feel it with Xavier Legette. I hate to write a young person off, but mentally, I don't think he's there. You know, maybe he's focused with his horses. Maybe he's focused with other priorities, or maybe he's just in a mental funk where he just he's trying really hard and can't get out of it. Never mind what Steve Smith say. Never mind what Cam or anybody else say. I look at what my eyeballs are telling me. I don't need a Panthers legend to tell me what I'm looking at. I look at shit is shit, right? Whether you're a legend or you played 10 years in the NFL, I know what I'm looking at. And just that's what I'm looking at when I see Xavier Legette as far as his performance. So, I don't have time for you to get your stuff together, nor do the Panthers fans. I mean, we waited damn near 8 years already for what's this? The first win of the season, 2 wins or whatever. What do we got? 1 win, 2 wins. Where are we at? One. So I mean, yeah. So to me, if I say, look, Bryson Tremaine has actually done a decent job when they have thrown to him. So I think he's serviceable while Coker comes back. Obviously, when Coker come back, that's my guy. I think he should get more rep, but Tremaine is holding it down. And for what it's worth, T Mac is leading the group. You know what I mean? And then Hunter Renfro was a little insurance policy. So if you ask me, no disrespect to Xavier Legette, man. I mean, we could do without him if you ask me. Yeah, I mean, you may not like what you're hearing, but I mean, let's keep it a buck. You got to understand, I like the Carolina Panthers. I'm not worried about an individual's performance, right? It's nice to see, we do well. I'm not, root against nobody, but I like the team winning, right? Okay, so shout out to that and the whole offensive situation. Let's go to the community section. I asked you guys yesterday or Monday to give me some questions for what you've seen yesterday. Thank you guys who obliged me in that information here. Let's see who we got here. Shout out to Nightmare Assassin. He says, "What are your thoughts on Bryce Young Week 3 performance? Do you think he could play better, or did he play well enough not to make horrible decisions?" My thoughts on Bryce. First of all, shout out to Nightmare for that question. My thoughts on Bryce Young's Week 3 performance is this: it was good enough to beat the Falcons. The best thing Bryce did was no turnovers. Best thing he did was you know, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna bitch. But it was good enough to beat the Falcons. He gave this defense a chance. This defense did not have to chase behind 10 points down, 10-point lead, or 10, you know what I mean, come from 10 point. They 3 point, you know what I mean? They played with a lead. Bryce helped keep that lead, you know. Going forward, is it enough? I don't think so. But it was good for the Falcons. Matter of fact, I think 3 of Bryce's 7 wins that he has since being here has came against the Falcons. So for what it's worth, man, maybe he is the Falcon Slayer. Thank you for your question there. Shout out to Anthony Woodward, brother. Hey, Anthony Woodward, thank you for that question here. How do you feel about this defense getting off the field on third downs and getting turnovers? Improvement, right? I seen improvement. Third downs, getting off the field. I still got a little concern there. Little concern, man. Little concern. Not too much, man. But I think the recipe for this defense is to give them a lead, right? Keep them ahead, right? Don't put these guys at their 40-yard line to start off their first series. Don't put them back at our own 10. And I mean, once you put them like that, back them up against their own red zone and shit, you're literally you break the spirits, man. You know what I mean? Because I was like, oh man, we gave up 7. We know Bryce gonna go out here and throw another pick. Now we're gonna be down by 10. Next we're gonna, you know what I mean? But yesterday, man, I think they played inspired. They played hard, and Bryce did a good job keeping that lead for them. Getting off the field on third downs is probably still a concern for me, right? I still think that because the Falcons squandered a lot of opportunity. As far as well as this defense played, the Falcons now, let's keep it a stack. They dropped some balls. The Falcons dropped some balls that they shouldn't have dropped. They didn't get some first down that they should have gotten. You know what I mean? So they Penix, I don't know what was going through his head yesterday. They're saying that he may be fired. I doubt that, man. You know what I mean? But hey, it's Atlanta, so it could. So as much as this was a dominant performance, let me ask you guys a question. Maybe let me ask you guys a question in the chat. For as good as the performance this was, do you think the Panthers won it, or do you think the Falcons lost it? Let me put that up in the chat. Do you think the Falcons won it, or you think the Panthers? Let me see. Let me see which is true. Let me see which is true. Let's see. Falcons beat themselves. Or Panthers dominated. Let me see. Answer that question for me in the chat, y'all. Did the Falcons beat themselves, or did we just outright dominate them? Anthony Woodward, this defense, they played good. They played good, but the Falcons did have some moments where they just some bonehead shit was going on there, man. So I will have to say, man, I like what we're doing with this defense. I don't think the first 2 games was a accurate representation of them. Still got to get off the field on third downs. You know what I mean? Still got to get off the field on third downs. Great job against Bijan, too, who had an amazing game the week prior. Okay. Thank you for your question there. Shout out to Jay, the Scorpio. He says, T-Mac loading. Yes, sir. T-Mac is loading, man. I'm telling you, man, if you guys don't know what a star is, you better look on Carolina.com and type in number 4. That's a star for us, okay? What else questions do we have here? Give me a second, y'all. What else question? Thank you guys, man. Cool Kev 88. He says, I don't think we dominated all 3 phases, because if we did, we would have put at least 3 more offensive touchdowns. All the opportunities given. What are your thoughts? Yeah, exactly. Cool Kev. Thank you for your question, by the way. Look, man, I don't want to, really take away anything from Carolina. Outside of that, they played a dominant performance. But if we're going back and just kind of like, what we need to work on, yes, this was really a sloppy game far as just being a complete, not being completely efficient. Bryce throwing for 121 yards, you know what I mean? There were some opportunities that he just outright missed. You know what I mean? When guys are missing field goals and we're starting off at our 50-yard line, you got to at least pick that up. You know what I mean? He still has some penalties as well. You know what I mean? Wide receiver group, Uh, I understand we were just out there playing with backups minus T Mac. You know what I mean? And I think this defense did have some moments where they had some lapses, right? They had some lapses, couldn't get up the field on third down. And I also think despite us playing well, the Falcons just missed some bad plays. I mean, Falcons literally, I can recall like several plays where niggas was wide open and Michael Penix just overthrew it. So yeah, man, I think we got to be more efficient, more thorough, right? Now, football is a tough game, man. I don't expect for us to shut nobody out or anything like that every game, but you know what I mean? Even in this shutout, there's still room for improvement. Okay. But yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah, I think this the offense could have done more. I'm looking at Bryce's balls, and I'm still seeing where they're dying. On that touchdown, I think he did a wheel route, the same wheel route he did in Jacksonville with Hunter Renfro. They ran a real wild at who was it, T Mac? You know what I mean? Boy, it looked like it took everything in his muscle to get that ball out there. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm literally, I thought it was like a prank, man. This, if you watch the game, man, his balls are just dying like midair. Just, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what that's about, dog. I would like to believe this guy have at least enough muscle to get that thing out there. You know what I mean? Shit, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's still deep concern for me. Matter of fact, I'll tell you this real quick. When it comes to my prediction, far as to the Carolina Panthers and um, what the record prediction is. So I initially had us at 6 wins, right? This is how it works for me. I don't know how it works for you guys. Okay. When it comes to me, if we win a game that we're not supposed to win, I add a game to the record prediction. If we lose the game we're not supposed to lose, I take one away. I had us winning in Jacksonville week 1. We lost that game, so I knocked it down to 5 wins. We lost to the Arizona Cardinals. I had us losing to the Arizona Cardinals, so I didn't have to take anything away. I had us losing to the Atlanta Falcons. So because we beat the Falcons, I put that win back on the board. So now we're still at 6 wins, right? At best. Come right now in my mind, looking at the way things rolling out, we're right at 6 wins. Okay. So, just because we beat the Falcons doesn't mean that I'm, giving us more wins than I initially started. I just replaced with it. That's how I look at it. That's how I correlate things. Okay. But yeah. Shout out to you, man. Let me read this question right here. Shout out to Mark White here. Give me a sec, y'all. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for that here. Um, Shout out to Mark White. He says, not a question, but Nick Scotton and Prince Manley should remain starters. They're getting so much pressure on Michael Penix. Absolutely, man. This defense was able to get pressure. They didn't get any sacks, man. So I greatly appreciate them showing up and showing out. But just to be fair, again, although they were able to get pressure on Penix, I mean, we played with a hell of a lead, right? So I mean, to me, it's I don't want to get too high on the Carolina Panthers, right? I want to acknowledge the dominant performance that we had. I think it's important to acknowledge that we can't discredit that. But I also want to say, look, some of the things we did because we played with a good lead. Now, what I want to see from Nick Scotton and Prince Manley is I want to see these guys be able to do that when the game is tough, right? When you're playing in a tight game, right? Uh, you're down 10-7, right? Or you're just 21-23, and right, that's when I want to see you get that pass rush as well, right, in a tight game. I think they were able to play freely because they were up by 30. So yeah, anybody, I turn into All American and nigga if I'm up by 30. You know what I mean? Now again, I'm not taking anything away from them, but I still think you still got to execute no matter what. But I will probably be more impressed if this was like a 13 or 13-10 game or maybe a 21-24 game, and those guys still were able to do that. Not to take anything away from them guys. They still had to go out there and do it, okay? All right. Let me read this other question here. Shout out to the last one here. Shout out to Joseph McMillan. He says, offensive line carried Bryce Young. We won this game purely off of bad decision making on Michael Penix. He was terrible. A bad quarterback can make any defense look good. The fact of the matter is we didn't get any sacks again. I like how we handle B. Robinson, but that's enough to compete at a high level for Bryce. Bryce was still missing passes and not getting his feet set, and even agreed with that McMillan were not at the same page on that deep ball. There's still a lot of question marks on this guy. I don't know, just my opinions. Hashtag F the Falcons. This is probably my favorite comment here, y'all. Shout out to let me show you guys, man. Show you guys here. Shout out to what was my man here? Shout out to Joseph McMillan, y'all. And look, Joseph, I agree with you. This is my favorite comment of the day right here, man. He says that, the offensive line carried Bryce. He said that bad decision making was the reason why this defense looked good. And you know what? I haven't even read this comment yet. This is how I know you're in a good mind, like I am. Because I said there was the opportunity where Michael Penix just did not capitalize. Michael Penix just did not capitalize. And I'm not gonna say that the defense didn't force him to do that, right? Because good defense dictate to the offense how they're gonna perform, right? That's how it works. If your defense is really dominant, it's gonna dictate to you how to play us. And for the most part, I think they did, but also there was opportunity. There still was opportunity for Penix to capitalize where there were balls being overthrown, balls being thrown behind, niggas dropping passes. So, yeah, man. And then as far as Bryce Young, and that's what I said earlier, man. Let me go back. Slow down here. He also said the defense did not get any sacks again. Absolutely. That was a comment I brought up earlier, man. So thank you, man. I know you're listening to. I must truly be your sensei here, man. But yeah, didn't get any sacks on this defense, on his offense. You know what I mean? And Bryce Young did miss passes. He did miss a deep ball. Still not in sync. It doesn't look like they're in sync where I would want them to be, right? I still think there's a lot of room. Nothing you're saying is wrong. And is a lot of question marks about Bryce Young. I think there's still a lot of question marks about this team. I can't dispute that, brother. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean it's a feel good win, dog. It's a feel good win. Y'all ever seen Angels in the outfield? This felt like Angels in the outfield, right? And this city needed this, right? Steve Smith came out literally this week and was said that the city of Charlotte was what did he say? He said this city's a weak what did he say? A weak A city. Week A city and all this stuff. It looked like we needed some kind of motivation, right? But yeah, man, look, man, I'm not gonna take away from it. We got the dub, right? If you ask me, the link is pinned to the comment section. If you guys want to join up here, you can come up here with me and have a conversation. If you ask me, dog, good, cute little win. Defense showed up. Michael Penix did play bad. We did hold Bijan Robinson in check. Dave Canales did call good play callings. Xavier T Mac is still that guy. T Mac is the truth. We did miss two starting offensive linemen. You know what I mean? And we still went out there and did what we had to do. There's a lot of questions, but there are some good things, right? That's how I pretty much sum up this game here. You ask me, I'm not ready to say that overrated or excuse me, let me ask the question. Overrated or underrated as far as the Carolina Panthers being back? No, sir, no, ma'am. The Carolina Panthers aren't back. They're not back. They just gotta win. They gotta win. I mean, we gotta stop anointing people so quickly. I don't know what that's about in this community here, man. And I get it, man. The Carolina Panthers fans want this team to be. I don't know. I get it. It was a feel good win. A win that we needed morally, emotionally. But I'm a man that likes to see things through. I like to kind of wait and just kind of consistency is what arouses me, right? Do it again. And then go out there and do it again. And then do it again and again and again. And again and again and again. So, like, yeah, man, I mean, try not to get your emotions too high and don't get too low. That's the best way I can say being a fan. I said that at the start of my YouTube channel. I said, look, y'all, it's gonna be a long year. Try to lower your expectations. It's funny, man, because people are unwavering. People are very wavering week to week in their support and their analysis. So when I be looking at different podcasters and even looking at the mainstream media, man, people are so finicky. You know what I mean? Oh, one win. Now all of a sudden we're on the elite quarterback, elite defense. And then the next week we lose 2 straight. Ah, man, the same people that said we was elite. We're bad again. All right, no, no, no. I'm gonna look you in your eyes and tell you right now, despite us winning, we still are gonna be about a 6-win team. Hate to break it to you. Now I don't want to go too far, and I don't want to go look at New England just yet here. Right? Still got a couple more days for that here, but I still think we gotta put together a string of wins, and we gotta be consistency. And I think that our mainly falls on Bryce. You know what I mean? Remember I told you what you put on tape, people watch it, right? People, they see this. So just as well as people attack us when we were bad, I think teams are going to attack us when we're good. They see what we do good, they take it away the next week. So I'm pretty sure Mike Vrabel and them, they're looking at their game tape of us right now, and they're saying, hey, man, they did this really good. Let's take that away. They're not going to sit here and say, well, what they did in the 30-0 blowout, this is going to work against us too. Let's not defend it. So now you got to reinvent yourself. So the game plan you had for the Falcons, it may not necessarily say it's going to translate the same way against the Patriots. So I don't know, man. I just I'm thankful and I'm grateful as a Panther fan for this win, but I'm not lying. I've done that for a long time. I'm not falling into that twap. I ain't gonna give me to fall into that twap. Yeah, y'all want me to fall into that twap where you get too high and the next thing you know, pow, right in the kisser. Here comes another L. You know what I mean? So kudos to the Panthers, man. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction if you're saying that this team is back. It's okay to enjoy the win. It's okay to sit here and say I appreciate the win and stuff like that. But to sit up here and say and again, don't be a fanboy, right? Don't sit here and say, oh, well, we're going to get on a 5-win run. If it happens, like allow for that to happen, right? Appreciate the journey. You know what I mean? But my expectation, I'm kind of like, okay, we'll see. Can they do it again next week? Good job, man. You know what I mean? You did your job. It's kind of like going to work every day. When you go to work every day and you do your job, you know what I mean? Your boss doesn't throw you a party for doing your fucking job, do they? You show me a person when they go to work and do their job every day, and you say, okay, here come a pizza party. No, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Yeah. So let's do it the next day and the next day. And for however many more days we got left, let's do it then. Okay. So salute to the Carolina Panthers. You know what I mean? I commit. Look, I give them the biggest applause, dog, for them to look adversity in their face, take it by the horn, and answer the call. Right? They came up and they had a lot of people hurt. They had Xavier Legad. They had everything in there. Everything could have went wrong. Bryce could have played bad the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I commend you for nutting up and doing what you got to do. Now do it again. Okay. All right, let's go to the comment section here. I'll take a few comments before we get up out of here. If you guys don't want to hit the link today, if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that like button, share. It's a good bit of you here. Do me a favor, man. Just hit that like button, share. Make sure you subscribe as well. Do me right. Shout out to Broski Bear. He says the Patriots have a defense, local Charlotte product, Myers Park, Drake May looking forward to a game. I forgot about that. Drake May is from Charlotte. I think he's going to have a nice homecoming. We're going up there, by the way. Shout out to Wayne. What's up, Big Wayne? He said, like Derek Brown, fool's gold. Like Derek Brown said, fool's gold. What do you mean by that? The team is fool's gold or what? So like Derek Brown said, fool's gold. Explain. What do you mean by that? You mean like the team winning fool's gold? What? Shout out to Gabe Mack. He said, "Facts. We don't get much of these. You got to enjoy it while it lasts." Yeah, dog. I don't want to. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I'm not trying to rain on nobody's parade. I mean, look, dog. You got until next Friday, or excuse me, you got until Thursday, because Thursday starts a new season or starts a new week, right? Celebrate this win. Enjoy it. You know what I mean? I personally, when I got an 8-piece Falcon meal, which is the Publix, 8-piece, and I enjoyed it every crunch. You know what I mean? I had every crunch of that, by the way. I mean, so yeah, I'm not here to take anything away from anybody, man. It's been a long time since we ate a dub, you know what I mean? Long time since we flashed a smile in a long while, you feel me? All right, stay right there. Shout out to T Green. He says, keep winning. Absolutely, keep winning. Shout out to MH. He said, to score 0 points, you can't say that we beat them, that they beat themselves. To me, anyway, they didn't show up and play. Well, look, we capitalized on them not playing well, right? Was it the Panthers that just literally just beat the crap out of them? Or was it the Falcons not making, capitalizing on wide open plays and drop balls stuff? You know what I mean? We took advantage of them not playing well. We didn't make them not play well. They didn't play well on their own. We just took advantage of it. Yeah. So they kind of beat themselves. And we just, you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? We just capitalize on their mistakes. Maybe. Oh, hell. Salute to you, brother. Shout out to Kelvin. How you doing, Kelvin Bellini? He says, I will take the win, but are we just found our identity? Or the Falcons just wasn't their best? But Tet is the truth, and wide receiver, he might be the best draft pick in Panthers history. No, sir, that's Julius Peppers. That's not disrespect the GOAT. Disrespect the GOAT. Shout out to Julius Pepper. He's the GOAT. But yeah, shout out to Kelvin Bellini. I'm just like I just broke my man right here. Dog. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna take away the win, right? We played good. We capitalized on mistakes. You asked me, was it us winning the game or was it the Falcons not showing up their best? I think it was the Falcons not necessarily showing up their best, and we just capitalized, right? You know what I mean? Falcons missing field goals, Falcons dropping balls, Falcons miss several wide open wide receivers dropping balls. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, we didn't dominate anybody. You know what I mean? If a nigga leave his door open and you rob him, you didn't necessarily break in, nigga. They just left the door open. You know what I mean? It wasn't you didn't rob. I mean, you know what I mean? You didn't break in. They just left, and that's what they did. They left the door open. If you're not going to complete your first downs, if you're not going to catch the balls, if you're going to get missed field goals, you left the door open for us to do what we did. Now the Panthers will be stupid not by taking advantage of that, and then we took full advantage of that. No, that's no disrespect to the Panthers. A kudos to them. If a nigga don't show up and you step in his place and fill that slot, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not really your fault. You know what I mean? Shit. So I'm not gonna sit here and say the Panthers dominated anybody. Niggas just took advantage of a sloppy team and a bad performance. Let's not act like this Falcons team didn't go to Minnesota and beat the brakes off of Minnesota. Let's not act like that Bijan Robinson didn't rush for over 100 plus yards up in Minnesota. Let's not act like this Falcon team didn't just put the clamps on, right? Now, let's not act like this Falcon team didn't come with that same precision and accuracy. Let's not act like the Falcon team didn't take advantage of opportunities like they took advantage in Minnesota. Let's not act like they weren't at their best. They weren't at their best. So you could say the Panthers dominated them. Fine, if that's what you need to get you to sleep at night, believe that. But from a non-biased perspective, the Panthers took advantage of a sloppy-ass Falcons team. That's what I got to say about it. And it's not our fault that they turned over or missing passing. We did exactly what we should have done. But we didn't make them turn the ball over and be sloppy and all that stuff. Yeah, they weren't at their best. Okay. And by the way, they were missing AJ Terrell as well. So who knows what that matchup looks like in Atlanta when AJ Terrell comes back. Okay. AJ Terrell on T-Mac, maybe it turns out differently. I don't know. A lot of what ifs and is that, third, and other, okay? Same way as we had people out. Who knows what that offensive game plan look if Robert Hunt and Corbett was there? Who knows? Okay. Shout out to Eli Grant. Hey, that's probably what Derek Brown was saying. Fool's gold. Panthers defense won good, but at the same time, the Panthers offense had mediocre numbers. Shout out to Eli Grant. Are you crying, nigga? Eli, I know you somewhere crying. What's up, Eli? Oh, oh, oh. Tell you what, I got an old stained up Teddy Bridgewater jersey. I'll let you become an honorary Panthers fan, Eli. Tell you what, I'm going to go reach in my closet here in just a second. I got this old dirty Teddy Bridge. I want you to pop that on for me. Send me a picture. I'm going to post you in the community section. Rise up, nigga. Nah, man, all jokes aside, y'all wasn't at y'all best, dog. Y'all wasn't at y'all best. And to me, if you ask me, man, do I want to win by beating a nigga who plays sloppily? Or do I want a nigga who, do I want to be the team who's at their best? I want to face the best, dog. I ain't no special needs person, bro. I don't want to, a gimpy Atlanta Falcon team. I want a back and forth rodeo showdown, and where my defense has to step up and make plays in a tightly contested game. Yeah, I despise the free lunch, like Elaine said. Despise the free lunch. Make me work for it. Yeah, I didn't like that. Make me work for it. If you want me, show me. If you need it, do it. Yeah, y'all just gave it to us. Whatever, man. Shout out to EBE Herbo. What's up, man? He said, like a sloppy drunk, we took advantage of them. Bingo. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Yeah. That's what the Falcons were. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there. But yeah, you said like a sloppy drunk, we took advantage of them. Yeah, y'all know, you know what that means. You that's exactly what it is, right? Now, 9 times out of 10, if that person wasn't sloppy, you probably would stood no chance with that girl, right? That's what the Atlanta Falcons were. Atlanta Falcons were a drunk, sloppy girl. You know what I mean? And while she was drunk, you guys, got a number. I'll leave it at that. But if that girl wasn't sloppy and drunk, you wouldn't have got her number. Yeah, that's what we did with the Atlanta Falcons. She was drunk, so she gave your ugly ass the number. You go take the number. She'll be, get away from me. You know what I mean? But hey, who it is? Shout out to Don Johnson. He said, it's almost like a lot of things don't remember when we were actually really good, when you used to have many losing seasons. We used not to have many losing seasons. Facts. Yeah, that's a good point, man. And I got to be honest with you, Don. A lot of these guys are new Panthers fans. The Panthers fans that are crying for Bryce Young and saying that Bryce is that, and the third, right? These are the Panthers fans that just became fans when Cam Newton came over, right? A lot of people that are Bryce supporters or Bryce like just overly lovers, and they ignore everything he does, right? This guy can go out there and throw for 2 yards and he's still good. Those guys are Panthers fans who just joined this fan base. Them niggas don't remember, you know what I mean, pre-Cam Newton, right? They don't remember that. You know what I mean? So they don't have any correlation to what it was like to be a fan in that era, man. They don't remember the 2004 season with a dominant defense and Jake Delhomme being able to get us to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? They're just happy with somebody just being a fan favorite. We were used to winning, back in 2004. Now niggas just happy because they got their favorite quarterback. You see the difference? How stupid that is? I'm a fan of the team, but you niggas root for one individual, regardless of how well or how bad he plays. Doesn't make sense to me. But shout out to the Cam Newton fans. Okay. Shout out to Gabe. He says, a win is a win, Big Cat. I'm not being picky. On to the Patriots. Hey, man. Said it better than I could. Yeah. I'm just going back, just kind of recapping the game. Mm-hmm. You're right, though. You're right. Absolutely right. Win is a win. You know what I mean? But like I said, nigga, do it again. Just do it again. That's all I ask. Do it again, nigga. Mm-hmm. Shout out to NC for Life. What's up, for Life? He said they took the Panthers lightly and they looked unprepared throughout the game. The passing game still looked suspect against Atlanta. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, yeah. The Panthers, they took the Panthers lightly. I mean, who wouldn't take the Panthers lightly? 0-2, Bryce playing like Bryce does, turning the ball over. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they probably thought it was a free lunch, you know? And that goes for anybody in the NFL. Look at the Houston Texans. I don't know if you guys know, the Houston Texans got beat up by the Jaguars. This is the National Football League. Any given day, anybody can win or lose. You know what I mean? The best can win. The best can win against. The worst can win against the best, and the best can lose against the worst. It just happens that way. If you come in here with your underestimating teams, you know what I mean. When you know that, hey, all these guys still got professionals on their team just as well as you do, you're gonna get what you got, which was a 30-0 loss. So yeah, I think the kind of NLS. Shout out to Solo Biscuit. The pre-cam fans know very little about our history. Hey, man, bingo. Bingo, brother. Bingo, man. I will say that, man. There are a lot of fans in here that don't really know much about Carolina Panthers history, especially when it comes to prior to Cam Newton. A lot of you guys, all you know is Cam Newton or Christian McCaffrey you know what I mean? If I ask you, how was it like in 2004? Do you guys remember Rodney Peete? Do you remember XYZ? You probably couldn't tell me. You know what I mean? You probably couldn't tell me. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to this. Stay right there. Let me read this last question. Shout out to B. B says, great win, but in my opinion, this offense was just okay. Defense is who stole the show. Our offense hasn't been that great thus far. Yes. Mm-hmm. This team winning could be, two things could be true, right? Shout out to Roadmaster. Shout out to you, brother. What's up, Roadmaster? He said, he said, Big Cat, I'm glad you're back to football. Absolutely, brother. Shout out to you, man. B says, in my opinion, the offense was okay. The defense is who stole the show. Our offense hasn't been that great. Absolutely. Two things can be true, and you know what I mean? We can have a dominant win and the offense still not showing up, right? So, yeah, two things can be true. Two things can be true. And that kind of scares me, right? So I'm not willing to come off my win prediction. Yeah, I'm not willing to come off my win prediction. My win prediction is for 6 games. Yeah. Again, so if you guys don't understand how I think, what I think is like this. If we win a game that we're not supposed to win, I add 1 to the total. If we lose a game that we're not supposed to, I take a 1 from them, right? And us beating the Falcons, I had us losing that, so I put that 1 back on the board. I had us winning against Jacksonville. I took that 1 off the board, right? So because we beat the Falcons, which I wasn't expecting, I put us right back at 6 wins. So, cute win, good win, feel good story. Let's do it again. Hey, baby, let's get to it, baby. You know what I mean? 1 and 2. For if you guys are keeping numbers or keeping stats here, man, I'll tell you this right here. We're second in the division for now. You know what I mean? We're back into the divisional race here. At least for week 3. We got a long season to go around. We got the head-to-head win against the Falcons here. And we still got to see Tampa here towards the end of the season. But for right now, man, the Panthers are in decent shape, okay? See you guys in Foxborough, right? If you're new to the channel, do me a solid, man. Hit that like button, hit that share button. This has been 1995, the channel for the fans, by your fan, restoring the roar. Man, let's get that roar back in the stadium as we did last week here, man. New England Patriots, man, I will be live play-by-play. Let you guys know what's up here, man. And shit, man, let's hope for another win, dog. I'm with you guys, man. And hopefully we can get some better offensive showing, and maybe we can fix the mistakes that we didn't in week 3. And hopefully we don't have any more injuries here. Just a quick little update here when it comes to injuries. Jatavion Sanders had a MRI on his knee. I believe he has a knee sprain. It's going to be out for a couple of weeks here. So that's another offensive weapon that's gone, man. So unfortunately, prayers up to him, and shoot, let's get it, man. I mean, next man up mentality, man. Shout out to Chris Gregg. He said Bryce accuracy still a little scary. And what is going on with Xavier Legette being ghost? Well, let me see what's going on with Xavier Legette. Hold on, let me see. Let me call him. Give me a second, y'all. I actually got Legette's number. Stay right there. Yo, XL, man, what's going on with you, bro? They want the crowd want to know where you been, brother. Man, I'll tell you what, man, big cat, man, I just can't get my head on my ass, man. I just, man, just hard for me to get you, you know what I mean, to catch the ball and just, I've been trying to feed Dollar Bill and just, just the new barbecue sandwich and to get them, man, Mullins, man, just Mullins and just all whatever. Okay, but look, Xavier Legette, T-Mac doing his thing, dog. You know what I mean? Bryson Tremaine stepping up, man. So, before you come back, I think we're gonna go ahead and put Jalen Coker in your spot. Man, don't do that, man. Please, man. This is, don't do that, dog, man. This is me, man. Legette, man. I just, gotta get my head together, man. I just, man, I just show my room to With that, I don't speak Geechee. Man, I just tell you what, man, just no, they hold my spot, man. I just, I've been dating Gorilla been cheating on me, and I just, horses and just, blah, blah, blah. Look, yeah, I gotta go. I got a show to do, but you got anything you want me to tell the audience out there? Yeah, man, just tell them, man, keep pounding, man. Man, I gotta, I'll be get my head together, man. I gotta, I gotta, just, man, get my Cadillac CSSR together, man. I just, man, I like sausage, man. I like Mullins, man. Mullins and sausage. And all right, Legette, I gotta go. All right, okay. Keep pounding, man. Okay. Y'all hear that, man? Legette told me to tell y'all keep pounding. He likes sausages. That's what the fuck he is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't worry about Legette. Legette, where Legette at? You focus on T-Mac. Yeah, and when Jalen Coker come back, he go do the rest. When Coker come back, he'll do the rest. T-Mac. Just keep your eyes on T-Mac.